Exiled in Australia, historian Vizier Sanu has finally returned to a mist-shrouded, forgotten mountain kingdom on the edge of the world. This is Khonoma, a village in Nagaland. Vizier's family has owned and farmed these exact steep agricultural terraces for 14 generations. But Khonoma is heavily scarred by history. In 1879, the British Army invaded the mountains, encountering fierce resistance from Naga warriors who fought to defend their sovereignty. After the British left, the Indian Army moved in. The village became a target for regular raids, closely watched by security services. Vizier's own father, the village chief, was repeatedly imprisoned and tortured by the military. Centuries of defense against foreign armies have left the Naga territory fragmented, but a new invisible barrier is about to test their unity more than any invasion. Look at this map of the region. In the aftermath of colonization, the Naga territory was sliced directly down the middle, separating a nation of nearly 3 million people between India and Burma. That boundary plunged the region into a 50-year fratricidal war. The Naga resistance fractured into rival, heavily armed factions, fighting both the occupying governments and each other. Now, Vizier must cross this militarized divide. 12 years ago, he promised the chief of the Kiam Nungan tribe on the Burmese side that he would return. For the Naga, this border is a deadly political fiction. To visit their own people, they have to risk their lives. As trails become impassable, Vizier's team abandons their vehicles, beginning a grueling, illegal foot expedition into the treacherous peaks of the Patkai Mountains. The physical toll of the freezing rain is agonizing, but the human geography is worse. The mountain route is crawling with rival warlord factions. Vizier's guide, a historical rebel leader, keeps his face hidden behind dark glasses to avoid assassination on the trail. On the Burmese side, the military treats the region as a forbidden zone. Soldiers routinely raid these isolated settlements, stealing crops and seizing young Naga men and women to use as forced labor. The torn muscles and freezing temperatures of the ascent are secondary to the constant looming threat of state-sponsored violence. Upon reaching the remote Burmese village of Kiam Nungan, the visual markers of Naga identity are absent. Traditional woven garments have been replaced by modern clothes, and the intricate ritual tattoos of the Headhunters are fading with the older generation. The source of this change was completely internal. Modern Baptist missionaries had crossed the mountains to evangelize the most isolated corners of the Naga territory. The church systematically dismantled the old animist beliefs. Because the Naga follow their chiefs absolutely, entire villages converted at once. Pastors assumed the authority of traditional leaders, and sacred animist artifacts were destroyed. The Naga people survived a century of physical armies, only to have their spiritual heritage and core identity quietly overwritten by a new religion. But Vizier has returned to help the Kiam Nungan reclaim their history. For a year, they carved a giant ceremonial log drum. Now, a massive human tide is dragging the timber up into the village square. Historically, these drums were beaten to revive the moon during lunar eclipses, or used to hold the heads of defeated enemies. The Christian missionaries had these traditional drums systematically destroyed. In the shadow of the restored drum, Vizier's coronation begins. The village elders present him with a traditional shawl and a warrior's decapitator blade, officially making him an honorary chief. This initiates the Liam, a sacred pact of peace between separated tribes. By reviving a ritual once suppressed, these communities assert a shared identity that ignores the international border slicing through their mountains. Back across the border on the Indian side, that ancient village triumph collides with modern urban despair. The capital city, Kohima, is suffocating under the weight of rapid, unplanned expansion. The local economy is paralyzed. Civilians and business owners are forced to pay extortion taxes to multiple rival rebel factions just to survive. This map shows the invisible enemy moving in. Kohima sits right next door to the Golden Triangle, one of the world's largest hubs for heroin production. Decades of militarization, zero industry, and massive unemployment have pushed a traumatized youth population toward intravenous drug use, igniting a severe, localized HIV epidemic. The historical violence of the border war has morphed into a self-destructive crisis, threatening to eradicate the youth that the foreign armies could not kill. The traditional warlords failed to stop this modern decay. The new defenders of the Naga people, are the women. Groups like the Naga Mothers Association have stepped up to fight the crises destroying their communities. They bypass the broken political system, building independent care centers for HIV patients and launching grassroots microcredit networks. These microloans provide stored-up cash for the widows of the conflict, allowing them to open small businesses and reclaim economic control from outside monopolies. As Vizier returns to exile, the preservation of the Naga way of life is being led by those who stayed behind. The next generation's stability is being built by the women and youth who are choosing to stay and fight the erosion of their community.